in the night.
Goodness. A little time for sleep, it seems.
Yeah, just making sure I get, some recovery time, 8, 9 hours, and then just do it all again the next day.
But this lifestyle, I mean, of course, Christine, working still to the American working hours is different to many of the players in the Alliance Premier 15 here. But what won't be different is combining a full-time job with playing. Do you talk about this to one another in the camp to kind of think about techniques of how you manage that? And is it a general rule that players have very understanding bosses to let them train as much as is needed to play at the level that you're at?
So not all of us get so lucky. I've been lucky to have a really supportive employer. Some of us have to take time off or take leave from work, especially with USA camps, tournaments, etc. So I think it just depends person to person. The reality is, we're not professional in the realm of what professional means. We can't just focus on rugby. So I think it just depends what situation you have. Hopefully you can allow yourself to play rugby and just focus on rugby while you're playing. And that's just kind of where we're at until the game progresses, the next 4 to 8 years where we're truly professional women's players.
Do you think we can get to that point, Christine? Could you see that day coming when there is a majority of players playing at the top level who are full-time pro?
I totally can. We need more buy-in on the commercial side. We need more buy-in and more funding in the women's game. We need more women's games streamed. More of the aspects that are in the men's game just need to kind of correlate with the women's game. I think we'll get there, but I do think it's going to take some time for us to get to that fully, 30 players in the squad are all professional.
Talk to us a little bit about the progress of the US national team, Christine, because you made it to the World Cup semi-finals in Ireland in 2017. You mentioned it's the World Cup in September of next year. Are the USA serious contenders, do you think, to win the title?
I think so. We've always been known to be a really, physical team. I think this last couple of years with Rob Kane coming in from Saracens, he's really worked on the technical aspect, us getting to know the game a bit more mentally, watch a lot more film. So I think we'll be a bit more educated, a bit more skilled on the field as opposed to just physical players that we're known for as Americans. So I think we're going to hold like a high competition when it comes to New Zealand next year, the World Cup. Yeah.
And of course, here at Sale, a couple of American internationals, Aisha Abu Mazouk and Jess Wooden. These must be players that you know well, Christine.
Yeah. No, they're great. They're honestly great people. I lived with Jess first time I came here with Quins. Played with Jess in 2017 World Cup. I lived with her and her now wife, Hannah. So honestly, my first game back with Quins was against Sale Sharks, and I had some fun little conversations in the refs when I got tackled by Hannah and whatnot. So yeah, honestly, really good people, good players as well.
And turning to today's match here, Christine, Sale up against Wasps. Sale having their first victory a couple of weeks ago on this ground against Worcester, but Wasps clearly going very well, having beaten Loughborough last week. How do you see this game, and what are some of the key matchups for us to look out for over the next 70 minutes?
When I played in that Sales game, it was a hard-hitting game. Sale have a lot of size in their pack, so I think they're going to put up a lot of competition to Wasp today. I think if they can hold Wasp back line and kind of that edge, because they do have a lot of speed, then they'll have a good chance of having a really competitive game and actually putting it to Wasps.
And just in terms of your own rugby journey, Christine, I think I'm right in saying that you didn't start playing until you were 18, and then 8 years later, you were playing in a World Cup semi-final. So for people watching today, potentially girls who are thinking about getting into rugby, just talk to us about how possible it is to go from novice to World Cup semi-final in 8 years. How'd you do it?
Take it in strides. You take the losses. I started going to camps in 2014, and I didn't get invited to anything until right before World Cup 2017. So I think you just kind of mentally go through not being selected until you are, and also just being okay with your little performances as they come. So I think it's more about mental strength than physical strength. But once you get that first cap, it's just so surreal and kind of makes everything completely worth it.
And do you find that you tend to move position a lot as you develop your game? Is it something where it takes you perhaps a few years trying lots of different positions in a rugby 15 before you know, actually, this is my niche and this is where I want to play?
I think so, because you're just trying to be the best at whatever you're doing, right? To just get selection, get a spot. So you might not be the best six at that time, and you have to play another position to satisfy the team's goals. So you try to be a well-rounded player. And honestly, that works better for selection, especially in World Cup time when you can only take 28 or 30 players. So definitely.
And looking at the season ahead now, Christine, we're starting to see some supporters coming back into grounds again. Obviously not in all parts of the country, but I know at Harlequins there are aspirations to try and get fans back in soon. What do you think is the real selling point of coming to watch women's rugby, perhaps for people who've never been and attended it in person?
It's a competitive game. A lot would tell you that they're really good games to watch. There's a lot of dominant tackles, dominant hits. There's a lot of physicality, and there's a lot of skill behind a lot of the plays and momentum we have. So the only way to experience it is to see it for yourself. You know, buy in, buy the ticket, sit in the stands, and just have a good time.
And for people who are perhaps watching this live stream today and it's the first time they will have seen women's rugby potentially played at this level, what do you think are some of the things for people to perhaps keep an eye on in the next 70 minutes? What might they see that's different to the men's game, and what might they see that actually is very similar?
I think, again, look at the skill work. Look at how the women treat each other on both, both sides of the ball. When tackles are made after the game, before the game, there's still a lot of camaraderie in the women's game, which I think is why we stick into it. Obviously, there's not a lot of funding for our game right now, so we're not in it for the money. We're in it for the love of the game. So people playing the game right now, all the women on the pitch are playing it because they enjoy it and they have passion for the game of rugby. And that's what you'll look to see.
One of the players, of course, we'll see this afternoon is Katie Daly-McLean, playing at number 10 for Sale. She was named this week by the World Rugby awarding body in the Women's Team of the Decade for 2010 to 2019. Have you played against Katie much, Christine? And what's your view on her as a player and what she's brought to the game?
Yeah, a few times. USA always played against top four, so I've had a lot of experiences against her. She's a huge player. She's a dominant kicker. She's been in the game for a while, and honestly, she's accelerated what it means to be a women's professional player in women's rugby. So yeah, aspirational player for sure.
Well, Christine, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you taking time out of a rare day off on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, definitely.
And enjoy the break. Good luck combining a hectic day job with all your training at Harlequins. And we'll, of course, see you later in the season when Sale match up to Quins here. I think it's the very last game of the season, so we'll see you up in Manchester then.
Thanks for having me. Good luck today.
Thank you, Christine. Christine Sommer there, the Harlequins and US Eagles back row player, joining us from her home today via Zoom and giving her perspective on all things women's rugby and, of course, this afternoon's game between Sale and Wasps.
Yeah, really interesting to listen to, Chris. Get a player's point of view from what we're about to see out on the pitch as we're about 5 minutes away from kickoff. Sale just heading back into the changing rooms. We can give you a rundown of the two sides today whilst we wait for this game to get underway. We said earlier that Sale have made 3 changes to their starting 15. So that squad in full. Lauren Delaney is the fullback. Alex Wallace and Lisa Newman are the wingers. In the centres, it's Laura Perrin and Alicia Colton. Fly half is Katie Daly-McLean. Scrum half is Mari Grieve. The props, Aisha Abu-Mazouk and Katie Houghton. Molly Kelly is the hooker. Teleri Wynne-Davis and Nicola Howitt form the lock partnership. In the back row, it's Georgie Perris-Redding, Hannah Field and Beth Stafford, the captain. The visitors' Wasps make 6 changes of their own. Their squad in full. Ellie Kildunn is the fullback. The 2 wingers are Katie Mason and Amy Wilson-Hardy. Gemma Rowland and Ayaka Suzuki are the centre combination, Suzuki making her debut, the Japanese international. Claudia McDonald is the scrum half. Meg Jones is the fly half. The 2 props, Elizabeth Craik and Maud Murr. Helena Ironton is the hooker. Samantha Monaghan and Kiara Cooney are the 2 locks. Adele McMahon and Claire Malloy are the 2 flankers. And Harriet Miller-Mills is the number 8. So the 2 teams for you there with about 2 or 3 minutes to kick off. We've got Chris with us again. Chris, what kind of game are you expecting to get? This is obviously a very big challenge for the Sharks.
It is, Ollie. It's a step up for them from the game they had here a couple of weeks back against the Worcester Warriors. They've, of course, played both Saracens and Harlequins, who are blazing a trail at the top of the table this season. So they've played against teams who are higher up the league than Wasps and have had the learnings from those. But they're coming up against a side who are clearly in good form, having won against Loughborough last weekend. I think there's 13 internationals in the Wasps starting 15. So it's clearly going to be a tough test for them. But this is a good yardstick, I think, Ollie, as to how far Sale have travelled over the last few weeks and through the progress they've made under coach Darren Lamont. It'll be a really good test for them. They have been able to field a team that is similar to the one that played in the last game. So continuity is there, and let's see how they fare against this Wasp side.
You speak of Darren Lamont, Chris, and we can now go pitch side to join him. He's with Carrie.
Hi Darren, we're back at Hayward Road today. Last time we were here, obviously we secured that big first win. Does that give any sort of a confidence to the women playing at home?
Yeah, they know what it feels like, and it's something to go off. Yeah, we played well, and we're going to challenge ourselves to back it up, but Wasps are a quality side and we just want our lessons. It's game 7 for us. But yeah, it's good to get the win last time out, and we know what it feels like playing at the Corpacq now. So
yeah, I'm sure you want it even more now that you know how it feels.
Yeah, I do, but they do more than me. So
yeah, and obviously the Wasps are quite a high up team. So what can we expect from your women today to try and secure that second win?
Yeah, as we've said all year so far, we just want to be competitive, but now we just want to be really competitive in the real meaty areas, the set piece, the defence. We want to sharpen our attack. We want to be a force to reckon with around the breakdown and stuff. So yeah, be competitive, but dig deeper in specific areas.
Yeah, and you certainly showed that last time we were here. So hopefully you can get that again this week.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers. Lovely.
Thank you, Darren.
You're welcome. I've lost my pen.
Thank you to Darren. As Wasps are now out on the pitch here at the Corpacq Stadium. As we said earlier, it's a lovely day for rugby here in Sale, led out by Captain Harriet Miller-Mills. And Chris, we're speaking just now about the test that it's going to be for Sale today. Wasps have scored 42 tries this season. They play quite a good brand of rugby, lots of offloads. I think we're going to see some more of that today, aren't we?
Well, interesting to hear Darren Lamont talking there that he wants Sale to become much more of an attacking force and be really competitive at the breakdown. And I think, Ollie, you're right, because as you mentioned, Wasps have scored a lot of tries this season. They've got a very exciting back line. And if Sale are going to win this game today, it might have to be in a high-scoring fashion. So far this season, they've not scored more than 2 tries in any game. And it might take more than that, you think, this afternoon for Sale to win this one. Either that or a Herculean defensive effort against a side that's got pace in the backs, the likes of Ellie Kildan, who've really impressed on the 7 circuit for England women. Amy Wilson-Hardy, a lot of international experience there, versatile across the back line, and of course a very, very good all-England international half-back pairing of Claudia MacDonald and Meg Jones. So it is a real test for Sale. I think the first 10 minutes is really important. Got to make sure that Sale are competitive in the early exchanges, competitive at the breakdown. Don't concede an early try, can get a foothold into the game, and then hopefully confidence will build from a Sale perspective.
And when we were here 2 weeks ago, Chris, for the Worcester game, we saw a Sale performance built on that strong defence. There was a number of times that Worcester were inside the Sale 22 and Sale were able to defend, and then when the Sharks got chances of their own, they're very clinical. Katie Daly-McLean putting in that crossfield kick for Alex Wallace to score, and we're going to need to see more of that today, aren't we?
Well, we are, and we can see on screen, actually, as the teams come out, Sale doing some last-minute work with the tackle bags, and that shows you the commitment to the defensive effort. The Wasps team are already out on the field of play. They're waiting for kickoff, stood in a semicircle, as you might normally expect, but right to the last, the Sale coaching staff are out there with tackle bags, getting the starting 15, going through a last set of tackle practice and really make sure they hit the ground running during the game. Very interesting to see that as the players now gather to take the knee for rugby against racism.
Every player encouraged to show their support for rugby against racism in their own way before kick-off here at the Corpacq Stadium. If you are just joining us, welcome along to the Corpacq Stadium. We're about to get this Allianz Premier 15s contest underway. Katie Daly-McLean will kick off for the Sharks, looking for back-to-back victories after that win over Worcester last time out. The referee is Dan Rowlands, the 2 touch judges James O'Brien and Kieran Henry. One last check from Rowlands and we are underway. Slightly scrappy kickoff from Daly-McLean, and it's Wasps in possession just shy of the Sale 10 metre line. Claudia McDonald setting up for the box kick here. So high kick, it's not gone particularly far, and Sale have gathered possession. A good early opportunity here to establish some attacking play. The Sharks just inside the Wasps half. Daly McLean happy to keep it in the forwards for now. Grieve at the base to Daly McLean again. Out to Abu Mazouk, who's tackled well, just shy of the halfway line. Daly McLean into contact. Sale happy to just go through the phases for now. Georgie Perris-Redding going in there with the ball, and Grieve goes to the short side to Daly McLean. Georgie Perris-Redding driving in again there, and Sale are up onto the Wasps 10 metre line.
Good start this from Sale, Ollie, positive.
An excellent start, and Katie Daly McLean looks for that cross-field kick again. She used it so well against Worcester a few weeks ago, but it's taken well by Meg Jones. Wasps in a similar position to as they were at the kickoff, and this time Claudia McDonald is going to use her forwards. Another box kick from McDonald. It's taken well by Katie Daly McLean, and she's just inside the Wasps half. Sale having plenty of possession here. Darren Lamman will be very pleased with that. It's through the middle. There's a break almost from Molly Kelly through the middle, but she's hauled to the floor. But Sale has started really, really well here.
Yeah, really good, Ollie, to see Sale going through the phases, both backs and forwards, looking to try and unlock this Wasps cover. Very solid defence from the visitors, but this is encouraging from Sale so far.
Molly Kelly tried the offload there, but it's gone forward, and it will be a Wasps ball. But that's a very, very encouraging start from Sale. A couple of games we've seen so far sometimes haven't quite been able to go through the phases, but this opening 5 minutes have been excellent, Chris.
Yep, certainly positive start from Sale. Don't forget you can get in touch with us throughout the afternoon through the social channels, whether you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, and we'll read out some of those messages shortly.
Wasps almost breaking through there. Kiara Cooney was the one who lost the ball, and Sale can play into the Wasps half. It's lost forward by Abu Mazouk, and it will be a Wasps ball again. They got it on halfway. Wasps with their first real foray into the Sale half, but we'll come back for that knock on. It was an advantage to Wasps, and they'll get the opportunity here for the first time inside the Sale half.
A couple of messages. Belinda Jeff, who I think is a Wasps fan, says, Amy Wilson Hardy, you legend. Thank you, Belinda. Charlotte Rumsey says, go Sale. James Perrin says, we'll be cheering you on from my chair. Fingers crossed we can attend your next home game in January. Yes, we hope so too, James. And Kai Newman says, Sharks, go, go, go. Watching from Spain. Hello, Kai. Always great to hear from people who are watching the game abroad. So please make sure you send us a message if you're outside the British Isles and watching this today.
This could be almost an excellent kick from Katie Daly McLean. She tried to pin Wasps inside their own 22, but it's gone dead, and will come back for a Wasps free kick. And it was the right idea there, Chris, but it wasn't quite executed rightly.
No, I think Katie Daly McLean will be disappointed with that, because that's good field position for Sale that's effectively turned on its head to be decent field position for Wasps. So a shame that after a good first five from Sale, and very unlike Katie Daly McLean to make a mistake like that one. Just a couple of other messages. Dylan Morris. Hi, Dylan. He says, come on the tank, Tulare Wynne Davis. Tulare number 4 for Sale today. And the beast, Molly Kelly, boom. So plenty of support there for Tulare and Molly, 2 of our Welsh internationals here at Sale. And Mark on Twitter says, good luck, ladies. Good win last time out. Keep going.
First scrum of the day coming up. Of course, we see less scrums with the adjustment to the rules because of COVID-19. And Wasps get a good initial shove on there, but it's come out the side of the scrum, and Mari Grieve gathers the ball. Slightly scrappy from the Sharks, and Wasps look to have turned this one over. And they'll finally have some possession in the Sale half. First chance maybe to get that very attacking back line going. We saw it to good effect last week at Loughborough for Wasps, and they'll have a penalty here. Sale going off their feet. And a chance here for Meg Jones to pin Sale deep inside their own half.
Might just be outside of Meg Jones's kicking range, although I'm not sure, Ollie. It is a long way out, but Meg Jones, one of the leading kickers in the Premier 15s, able to land conversions from the touchline, but on this occasion looking, as you say, to kick to the corner.
Just about made it out there.
I think it was actually an attempted cross kick for winger Katie Mason to chase Ollie rather than being what we perhaps thought it might have been.
Well, Katie Mason almost avoided it in the end because she sort of stepped back to try and avoid the ball. Obviously happy to see it going into touch. It will be a Wasps line out, of course. First chance for Helena Ironton to get her line out right. And it's good ball into the hands of Cara Cooney, and a first chance for this Wasps backline. First touch for Ayaka Suzuki in the centre. Advantage for Wasps.
Good tackle that from Georgie Perris-Redding. No real progress for Suzuki, but
it's taken quickly, and Sal tried to make the tackle and bursting through, and it's going to be a try here for Wasps. Claudia McDonald taking the penalty quickly, not a hand on her. And Wasps lead. Claudia McDonald saw the opportunity. I think it would have been a yellow card had she been hauled down, because there was a couple of Sale players there, not back 10, but it is a try. A first try for Wasps, and that was excellent from Claudia McDonald, Chris.
Well, quick thinking from Claudia McDonald, showing all her international experience and quality there. But Sale will be mighty disappointed, Ollie, because they've certainly had the better of the first 7 minutes or so. No real threat to their line at all. And out of nowhere, a quick tap penalty, and Wasps are 5 on the board with 2 to come. So disappointing there for Sale, but hopefully they won't be too disheartened, because the start of the game certainly showing lots of positives in the opening exchanges. But quick work from McDonald there, very quick feet, and that's what she can do.
A 6th try of the season for Claudia McDonald in the Allianz Premier 15s. As we said earlier, one of the many internationals in this Wasps side. Can Meg Jones add the conversion? Shouldn't be too tricky from there. And she slots it through the post, and Wasps lead by 7 points to 0, about 8 minutes into this one.
Good conversion from Meg Jones. A few more messages on the social media. Please keep them coming. Deirdre Roberts is watching from Ireland. She says, let's go Wasps. Big Irish contingent in the Wasps team today. Sarah May, who is new to the sport at age 43, says she's encouraged by these fabulous women. And she is from Crewe and Nantwich Women. Thank you very much, Sarah, for getting in touch. Trev Williams says, thank you for streaming the game. Come on, Wasps. Allez, allez, allez. And finally, Angela Trainer says, great to see the Sharks women starting so well.
A long kick from Katie Daly-McLean deep into the Wasps half, and it's cleared back towards Lauren Delaney. Sale with more possession in the Wasps half. Daly-McLean again. Tulare Wynne Davis driving forward for the Sharks. Wasps doing a good disruption work at the breakdown, but Sale retain possession. Laura Perrin driving in this time. Some good continuity in attack from Sale here. Looking for their first points of the game. Comes out onto this left-hand side, but it's loose ball. Lisa Newman out there on the left-hand wing having to pick that one up, but Sale retain possession. Mari Grieve going on her own, but doesn't quite work out. And it's scrappy ball for Sale, but at least they are going through the phase. But they've lost it here at the breakdown. We've seen a couple of times how much disruption Wasps were doing at the breakdown, and they've turned it over, and we'll have a penalty to Wasps, and it's a yellow card, I think, for Sale. Lisa Newman, who's been yellow carded. It may have been for a high tackle, but I'm not.
Yeah, I wasn't sure it might have been for a deliberate knock-on. Yeah, deliberate knock-on. I think as Wasps were looking to break, Lisa Newman putting out her hand. No attempt to really catch the ball. Potential opportunity for Wasps to break with players over. And Lisa Newman being penalised by ref Dan Rowlands, and will spend 10 minutes in the sin bin. So this is going to be a test for Sale whilst Newman is off the field.
Seen a lot more recently. Referees are having none of those deliberate knock-ons. Even in the tackle now, we see players get sin binned. If there's a loose hand there, you will be sent to the sin bin for 10 minutes. And Lisa Newman there now off the field for the next 10. So a tricky period coming up for the Sharks. They have started well, but they're 7-0 behind and they're down to 14 for the next 10 minutes. So they need to try and keep their hands on the ball as much as they can here. And Mari Grieve tries the kick, but it's charged down and it's picked up by a Wasp hand, but will come back for a Sale penalty. It looks like there was a Wasp offside, but again, Sale living dangerously there, Chris.
Yeah, Sale will be mighty relieved to see that Dan Rowlands gave the offside there, because they were in trouble again after a mistake in their own 22. And important really that Katie Daly-McLean uses her experience now and just tries to slow things down a bit for Sale, get them going through some phases, executing hopefully a clean line out and trying to just keep the basics right in this period whilst Lisa Newman is taking the sin bin penalty, because having conceded that try, I want to make sure that Wasps don't get 2 scores ahead, otherwise it could start to look a long afternoon for Darren Lamont's men. But decent touch from Daly-McLean, an opportunity now for Molly Kelly to try and get some decent line-out ball for her side.
The first Sale line-out of the day, and Molly Kelly goes to the bat, but it's gone over the head of Georgie Perris-Redding. Off a Wasp hand though, so Sale will get possession. A scrappy line-out there, but it's worked out okay for the Sharks. It was a Wasp scrum. Initially, Dan Rowlands signalled a Wasp knock-on, but it will be a Wasp ball. They got another opportunity here to build an attacking.
Yeah, the throw not straight in the line out there, Ollie, from Molly Kelly. So whilst the knock-on followed it, the first offence was the Sale one for the crooked throw. And it'll be a put-in for the visitors.
Scrum for Wasps on halfway, leading by 7 points to 0 here at the Corpacq Stadium. And again, Wasps get the drive on in the scrum. They've enjoyed some early dominance in that area, and they come out onto this left-hand side. It's Ellie Kildunn breaking through. We saw what she could do last week against Loughborough, and she's done it again here. Such a decisive runner is Ellie Kildunn. She's got so much pace, and the Sharks just couldn't handle her there. She goes over for her 5th try of the season. And what a start for Wasps, Chris.
Well, it was a little bit too easy, really, but the absence of Lisa Newman in the back line, very obvious there as the ball was spun along the Wasps 3/4, and Sale running out of numbers. And Kildunn, as you rightly say, Ollie, is a real punisher of space. She's done that internationally as well as at club level as well, and merciless as she ripped through the Sale cover there. So Sale suddenly have a bit of a mountain to climb here, Ollie, down to 14 players. 12 points down on the board, potentially 14 after this kick. So very important period coming up now for Sale to try and consolidate and at least hold the scoreboard at the current deficit and not let Wasps through again for another score. But clinical finish and very nicely taken.
As Chris said, an important period coming up here. Sale down to 14, and Wasps have just scored their 2nd try, and a chance here for Meg Jones to add the extras. A bit more of a tricky kick from her earlier conversion. It's just gone out to the right-hand side, but Wasps lead by 12 points to 0. 14 minutes into this one. Sale Sharks 0, Wasps 12.
Some more messages coming in on social media. Jason Hibbert-Jones, who I'm sure is a relative of Daisy, one of the replacements for Sale today, says, watching from Germany, go Sharks. Suzanne Wallace says, come on Sale Sharks, great to see you play. Watching from Dubai. So great to have you with us, Suzanne. I wonder if that might be a relative of Alex Wallace playing on the right wing today for Sale. Ian Woodvine says, come on girls, quick recovery after the Wasps try. Watching from Anglesey. Well, it's almost abroad, Ollie. You've got to go across the Menai Bridge. So great to have Ian tuning in from Innis Mon. Look at the Welsh. I'm almost native. And Pierre Turpin says, go, go, Ayaka Suzuki. Good luck, Wasps, following from Japan. Well, great, Pierre. Thank you so much for joining us out in Japan. Ayaka Suzuki, the Wasp Centre, making her debut this afternoon.
Great to hear you all getting in touch. Remember, we're live on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter, so get your messages in and we'll try and read those out if we can. It's Claire Malloy down, oh no, sorry. Helena Ironton down for Wasps at the moment. We're 15 minutes into this one. The visitors are leading by 12 points to 0. They're looking to close the gap on Harlequins and Saracens at the moment, who don't play today. Their game is off because of a COVID-19 test at Saracens. They'll play in the new year, so a chance for Wasps to try and close the gap on those two as we break here. And Chris, it's going to be a difficult period coming up now for Sale. They're down to 14. They're 2 tries down on the scoreboard, and Darren Lamman won't want things to get ugly because it could get out of hand very quickly.
Absolutely. Another couple of Wasp scores now and almost game over for Sale, really, and it gives them a mountain that you'd think was too much to climb. So important to get the basics right. I mean, we said a short time ago Katie Daly-McLean had a penalty. She kicked it successfully to touch, and then the throw from the line out wasn't straight. That cost Sale a scrum, and ultimately from that scrum came the try. So they've got to make sure they execute everything that they're doing in the next few minutes correctly and accurately. They did start so brightly in those opening exchanges, so they came out absolutely of the traps at the right speed and with the right level of intensity. But now those 2 tries from the first 2 Wasps opportunities have given them a mountain to climb. But a penalty here, a little bit of hope for Sale to perhaps get themselves back into the game.
A real opportunity here, as Chris just said. Wasps last week were a bit susceptible with the driving line out against Loughborough, so I wonder if the Sharks coaching staff have picked up on that and will try and use that more to good effect here as Katie Daly-McLean kicks into the corner. It'll be a line out 5 metres out for the Sharks. A first real opportunity to get some points on the board, and as we just said, it's been a tough start, so a chance to get back into the game here, but Molly Kelly will want to get her line out right.
Key throw this for Molly Kelly, Ollie.
Sale go to the middle and is well disrupted by Wasps, and that's a real blow for the Sharks there. Some good work from Wasps defensively in the line-out, and they've turned this over, and Claudia McDonald can kick away, but it's just stayed in, and Lauren Delaney can run this back, and she goes to Katie Daly-McLean, but that's dropped, and suddenly Sale having to scramble. A good step from Alicia Colton as she kicks towards the corner, and it's gone into touch on the 22. It'll be a Wasps line-out, but difficult moment there for the Sharks, Chris. Molly Kelly not quite getting her line out right again.
No, and that will be a concern for Darren Lamont and the coaching staff, but excellent from Alicia Colton there. She had 4 yellow shirts zoning around her, and she managed to look up, saw that there was no way through, and she was fairly isolated, but an excellent kick and really making the best out of the situation. So good work there from Alicia Carlton, one of the local girls in the Sale side.
Wasps line out just inside their own 22. Successfully thrown to Samantha Monaghan, and it's Wasps this time who have a successful at the lineup. They've lost it. Knock on, and it's picked up in front of where the knock on was made. So a penalty to Sale, and Mari Grieve will take this quickly. Daly-McLean out towards the left hand side. Sale inside the Wasps 22. A first chance here to get some points on the board, and it's a long pass to the outside, and it's gone into the hands of Lauren Delaney, and she bursts towards the line. Sale keeping it in the forwards for now. That's Katie Houghton. Mari Grieve marshalling her forwards is Aisha Abu Mazouk this time.
Real opportunity here for Sale, Ollie.
Molly Kelly loses possession. Wasn't the best pass for Mari Grieve, and it's a turnover again, and another opportunity wasted. That's 2 now in quick succession that the Sharks haven't quite got right, and Wasps have the ball, but they're deep inside their own half, and that's a good defensive effort there from the Sharks forwards. But we'll come back for the knock-on, and again, Chris, the chance was there. 2 weeks ago, Sale converted their chance that they had, but today they haven't quite got it right so far.
Yeah, so much to commend that passage of play from Sale, from Alicia Carlton's kick to the follow-up play that took Sale close, but important to take your opportunities in games like this, particularly when you're down to 14 players, and Sale not able to convert that. So disappointment there for the side, but important that they don't give Wasps an easy exit here.
Midway through the first half here at the Corpacq Stadium, Sale Sharks 0, Wasps 12, and another opportunity for Sale coming up.
Well,
here.
excellent tackling. Excellent tackling. We said it was important, Ollie, not to let Wasps have an easy exit. Once more, the Sale defensive effort really showing through there. The tackling has been one of their strengths this season, and now Mari Grieve has an opportunity which perhaps a minute or two ago when Sale lost possession she didn't think she might have.
Mari Grieve to Hannah Field. She looked as if she might give the pass, but that's a good carry from Hannah Field, and she's taken Sale up towards the Wasps 5 metre line. A real chance here for the Sharks. Daly McLean in the hands through the middle, and it's Laura Perrin who's just short of the line. Grieve marshalling her forwards again. A real chance here for Sale, but it's turned over again. Wasps have been very good at the breakdown so far. They've caused a lot of disruption, and McDonald can clear away, but it's stayed in field, and the Sharks can come again here. Taken well and picked up well by Lauren Delaney. Sharks really need to get their work at the ruck done well here. They've been turned over a couple of times, but they've got possession just outside the Wasps 22. Still down to 14 are the Sharks. Molly Kelly coming in on the crash ball. A good carry from her. Tulare Wynne Davis this time. Sale happy to keep it in the forwards for now. Mari Grieve switches possession and gives it to Katie Daly McLean, who tried the short pass to Molly Kelly, and Sale keep the ball. Mari Grieve going in on her own this time. Paris Redding is acting scrum half, and Daly McLean tries a step, and initially she beats the first tackler, but some good defence there from Wasps. But Sale are going through the phases here. They have gone through the phases relatively well in this opening 20 minutes, but it hasn't quite reflected on the scoreboard. And again, it's a turnover at the breakdown. Another missed opportunity there for Sale. And Chris, it's just not quite working in that red zone at the moment.
It's not. There's lots of positive Sale intent and some decent work in and around the fringes, but when they're getting closer to that Wasps line, they're tending to make an error. Part of that, of course, is due to the quality of the Wasps' defensive effort, but Sale are competing. I think that's important to note. After those 2 quick tries, most of the play has been at the Wasps' end of the field, and considering Sale are down to 14, that's a good effort at the moment.
A really poor clearance kick there from Meg Jones, and Katie Daly McLean caught it on the right-hand touchline, and Sale have possession again. Just outside the Wasps 22, and can they finally get that first try on the board? It comes out onto the left-hand side, and Lauren Delaney breaks into the Wasps 22. The Sharks about 10 metres out here. Houghton this time. Mari Grieve marshalling her forwards to the left-hand side. Continue to lose that blind side, do the Sharks. This time it's Alicia Colton that drives in. Again, there's a Wasps player over the ball. It was Claire Malloy who was trying to win the turnover, but she's been penalised, and Salah have a penalty here. And this is relatively kickable if Katie Daly McLean did want to try this one, Chris.
Yeah, decision time. I think perhaps Katie Daly McLean will feel that 3 points isn't a fair return for this passage of play that we've seen, and Sale really playing with spirit and no little skill in coming close to penetrating that Wasps defensive line and forcing penalties. But after having all this territory in the Wasps 22, it's really important that Sale come back from this with points, and preferably 7 of them. But encouraging response, as we say, and Lisa Newman now back onto the field of play as Sale return to 15.
As Chris said, Lisa Newman back from her 10 minutes in the sin bin, and Molly Kelly with another chance on the 5 metre line to get the line out right, and it hasn't gone right. And it's a Wasps ball, and again, Sale haven't got their red zone line out working particularly well so far, and that'll be a relief for Wasps. They struggled last week to defend them all against Loughborough, but 2 poor throws for Molly Kelly, and McDonald will have a chance to clear her lines, although she gives it to Meg Jones, who clears herself. And it's taken a nice Wasps bounce there, and it goes into touch on the halfway line. It'll be a Sharks line out.
Well, a key feature, Ollie, of the victory over Worcester was the line out for Sale, and they just haven't had that platform so far today from any of the throw-ins as we reach the water break, slightly beyond the midpoint of the first half, but gives us the opportunity to catch up on messages on the socials. We start with Jake Southall, who says, "Come on Sharks," and Alex Wallace, the beast from the Middle East. Alex playing number 14 today, the Sale right winger who scored that try in the first ever victory for Sale against Worcester a couple of weeks ago. Thank you, Jake, and appreciate your message. Brendan O'Malley says, O'Malley cheers on, and especially the Ellesmere Port girl Scarlett, that's Scarlett Fielding, who is the replacement hooker today for the Sale Sharks, and Daisy, that'll be Daisy Hibbert-Jones, who is also on the bench, the Sale wing forward. Thank you, Brendan. Renee Barnard says, come on Wasps, and Amy Wilson-Hardy watching from South Africa. Thank you very much, Renee, for getting in touch. Great to have you with us down in South Africa. Vinnie Delaney says, come on Sharks from Dublin. Thanks, Vinnie. Anne Coppenhall says, come on Sharks, keep calm, you can do this. And finally, Mark Craik says, come on Wasps, and Craikey super utility forward. And that's Liz Craik, the dentist by trade, who is loosehead prop today for Wasps, but also who features in the second row and the back row. Now that is a utility player, Ollie.
Exactly the kind of player you need in your squad, isn't it, Chris? You've got someone who can play in the front row, second row and the back row. Gives you options in terms of substitutions as well, if you want to mix things up in the second half. So it's definitely
a coach's dream.
Oh, absolutely, Chris, definitely. As we break for drinks here, 23 minutes into this first half, Sale Sharks 0, Wasps 12. You may have missed in the last couple of weeks Katie Daly-McLean named in the World Rugby Team of the Decade. Such a legendary player for England over the years, and now here at the Sharks running the show. So a great achievement from her. We'd like to wish our congratulations to Katie. Of course, a coach here at Sale now alongside her playing duties, but still one of the best players in the game.
Yeah, one more World Cup I'm sure she's keen to be a part of, as we were talking pre-match to Christine Sommer. New Zealand in next September and October, the first time the Women's World Cup will have been played in the Southern Hemisphere. So one for your diaries, folks. The draw was made a few weeks ago. England in the same group as Fiji, France and South Africa. That should be a fantastic tournament.
Molly Kelly gets her line out right this time, and be a Sale penalty. The Wasps forwards there coming around offside, and Katie Daly-McLean. Couple of changes for Wasps. Helena Ironton and Adele McMahon off, replaced by Cleena Maloney and Sarah Mitchelson. So two changes for the visitors.
Yeah, early changes those, Ollie, from the Wasp coach, Giselle Mather. Not sure whether that's injury or purely tactical, but much better previous line-out from Molly Kelly, picking out Beth Stafford. Let's see if she can do it again here.
And more good line-out ball for Molly Kelly to Hannah Field, and the Sharks in possession. Laura Perrin driving up inside the Wasp 22. Another chance here for Sale. Again, it's scrappy breakdown ball, but Katie Houghton retains possession. Daly-McLean round on the outside to Laura Perrin. Sharks just outside the Wasp 22. Daly-McLean shepherding things well. There's a knock on there in midfield from Aisha Abu Mazouk, I think, and the Sharks have lost possession and Wasps clear their lines, but it stays in field, so Sale can come again here, but the continuity isn't quite there at the moment for Sale. They've had a lot of possession, a lot of territory. Wasps have barely been in the Sale half, but they're leading on the scoreboard. Yeah,
and that's sometimes one of the contradictory statistics you see in rugby, isn't it, Ollie? You see the team that's had more possession and more territory, but are still losing on the scoreboard. So Sale have certainly had the better of both of those aspects, as you say, but it's Wasps who've been really clinical when they've had their two opportunities. But aside from the two tries, they've barely been inside the Sale 10-metre line.
Well, we've seen, haven't we, Chris, across the Autumn Nations Cup as well, how teams don't necessarily want to have the ball. They're happy to defend, happy to win penalties at the breakdown. I saw George Ford said the ball is like a ticking time bomb at the moment.
Right. Better not to have it. Incredible.
Well, it works. It worked for England, didn't it? And it's working for Wasps at the moment.
And you've got to find a formula. That's what sport's all about, isn't it? It's finding a formula to win. There's lots of different ways to win a rugby match as there are to win a football match or a cricket match. And what ultimately matters is the score at the end of, in this case, 70 minutes. And Wasps have shown so far an ability to be clinical and to take opportunities when they come. Sale have put all the effort in and a lot of good play, but are still not on the board. And I'm sure Darren Lamont will want to make sure that that 0 next to Sale's name on the board at the far end of this ground is not that same way at the end of this half.
Well, it was a scrappy line out again, but Sale have retained possession. Katie Houghton cleaning up well at the back of that line out, and Sale now have another chance in the Wasps 22. Hannah Field driving in that time. Molly Kelly in possession. Sale 5 metres out from the Wasps line. Can they get their first try on the board? Daly McLean out onto the right hand side. Good cover defence there from Amy Wilson-Hardy, and Sale keep possession. There's Beth Stafford, the captain. Very happy to keep it in the forwards for now is Mari Grieve. Will we see Katie Daly McLean used on this right-hand side? But again, it's a turnover, but Wasps are penalised, going off their feet. Wasps have disrupted well at the breakdown so far, but they were slightly over-eager there. And it'll be a Sharks penalty, and I think this time Katie Daly McLean is pointing to the post. Very happy to get some points on the board after all the possession and territory Sale have had.
I think that's the right decision, isn't it? I think Katie Daly McLean has to say enough's enough. Sale have huffed and puffed at the Wasps line, but haven't managed to get over for a try. So better to take some points back and get on the board this afternoon. But I think Sale mighty competitive, Ollie. You know, they're really competing well at the breakdown. Couple of much better line-outs there where Molly Kelly has managed to find the jumper, and Sale have been able to get the platform from that. And hopefully here, if Daly McLean is on target, 3 points at least for Sale to get into the game as we move towards the last 7.5 minutes or so of this first half.
Definitely been a progression, Chris, from that first game against Loughborough to what we're seeing today, competing with a real tough side like Wasps, and a chance here to reduce the deficit to 9 points. Katie Daly McLean. And she slots the penalty, and Sale have some points on the board. It's Sale Sharks 3, Wasps 12.
A couple more messages coming through on social media. Hello to Angela Stamp, who's also in Dubai. There seems to be a gathering in Dubai this afternoon watching this game, and she says, go for it, Sale Sharks. Thank you, Angela. And via Twitter, the Reverend Jay Seaton says, loving seeing Nicola, the Warrior of Warrington. And I think that'll be a reference to Nicola Howard, the Sale Sharks number 5.
Just under 7 minutes to go in this first half. Kick-off by Meg Jones, and Katie Houghton takes an unbelievable catch. She was under a lot of pressure there and did so well to hang on. And
that was brilliantly done.
We've seen a couple of times so far this season that Sale's exits haven't been great, but that was brilliant there, and the Sharks can build some momentum based off of that. And Mari Grieve with the box kick chooses to keep it in field, and Wasps will have possession. They haven't had much of it in these last 20 minutes or so. Ended up in Sharks' hands. Alicia
Great
Carlton.
work from Alicia Carlton there, reading the little dink.
And then more possession and more territory for the Sharks. They've had a lot of it in this first half. Daly McLean. Molly Kelly with the carry. Does well to hang on there. Sale up onto the Wasps 10-metre line. But it's again scrappy at the breakdown. I do wonder whether Darren Lamont at half-time will be asking his forwards to commit more at that breakdown, because Wasps have caused a lot of havoc there, and it's gone forward from the Sharks, and it'll be a Wasps free kick.
Well, it's the modern day coach's dilemma, Ollie, isn't it? How many players do you commit to the breakdown? We see less and less, certainly in the Gallagher Premiership, when we're covering the Sale men's side for Sharks Live. But it's a awkward balancing act. The less you commit, the less likely you are to win the breakdown. But obviously you are taking players away who could be available as the ball is spun down the line. So consideration, of course, for Darren Lamont, but really important that Sale keep this deficit to 9 points in the remaining minutes of this half.
5 minutes to go in this half, and Wasps have broken through, but a good cover tackle there, and the Sharks do well to hold on for now. Wasps with some possession inside the Sharks' half. Claudia McDonald. It's Meg Jones in midfield, and she tries to jink her way through, but good defence there from Georgie Paris-Redding to stop the England international. Wasps keep the ball again, and they're pushing towards the Sharks 22. Katie Mason carrying in there. Maud Murr. Some good continuity here from Wasps. It's on the blind side, Jones. Sale trying to force a turnover. A scrappy rut for Wasps, but they keep possession. Cara Cooney driving forward well there. Maud Murr again. Wasps' best phase of the game since those two early tries they've scored, and they've got a penalty advantage. Molly Kelly coming offside there, but they'll want more than that now. 5 metres out from the Sharks line. Jones tries a crossfield kick into the corner. Who's going to get there first? And is bounced into touch. It looks as if Amy Wilson-Hardy might have got that at one stage, but it's gone into touch. But of course, Wasps did have the penalty advantage, so Meg Jones knew that she can come back here, and it'll be interesting to see what Meg Jones decides to do. It's very kickable, this one.
Well, the bounce of the ball certainly favouring Sale on that occasion, as that Meg Jones kick over the top was destined for Ellie Kildan or Amy Wilson-Hardy, but Sale still with much defending to do here from this penalty.
Wasps with the line out. About 6 metres out from the Sharks line. Sale have had plenty of possession, plenty of territory, but they're 12-3 down on the scoreboard. They could fall further behind here with 3 minutes to go in this first half. Wasps with the opportunity. Wasps just 2 metres out from the Sharks line. Into the hands of Mitchelson. The Sharks are quickly off their line, and Katie Daly-McLean's trying to hold Elizabeth Craig up, but Wasps retain possession, and Jones comes out onto this left-hand side. It's Kildan. She gives it onto the left to Amy Wilson-Hardy, and it's a Wasps try, their third of the game. Good hands there from Wasps. Kildan with the final pass to Amy Wilson-Hardy, and the England international adds the visitors' third try of the game.
Well, once more we see Wasps' ability to finish and the quality of their execution when in close distance to the Sale line. They've made 3 visits to the Sale 22 in this game, Ollie, and they've scored a try on each occasion. And I think that's perhaps a yardstick really for Sale to see how the teams at the very top of the Alliance Premier 15s are able to take the opportunities of territory and to have the execution to be able to turn that into points. So nicely worked. Good work from Meg Jones at 10. We expect to see that from her, and a neat finish in the corner from Amy Wilson-Hardy. And I think Sale will feel pretty hard done to looking at this scoreboard. 17-3 down with this conversion to come, but it is perhaps just a bit of a reflection, as you say, that you can win games of rugby without necessarily being on top in possession or in territory.
Tough kick here for Meg Jones, looking to add to her first conversion. She missed her second, and that one falling just short. So Wasps 17 points on the board to Sale's 3, and less than a minute to go in this first half.
Well, the scoreboard makes for tough reading for Sale Sharks players and supporters, and perhaps doesn't do justice to the way Sale have played for much of this first half, Ollie, but it's Wasps who've had the ability to unlock the Sale defence, and as this half draws to a close, no doubt some messages to bounce around the Sale dressing room about how to deal with this Wasps attack, and potentially 1 or 2 tactical changes that might be made in the second half to deal with that. But I think Sale can take a lot of credit for the way they've played for much of this first half, and but for a little bit more luck and sharpness of execution in the Wasps 22, it might have been a lot closer on this scoreboard.
Wasps in possession just outside their own 22. I'm sure they'll be happy to run the clock down here and kick this one into touch. Claudia McDonald's already had a bit of that, a look at that clock opposite us here from where we look out in our commentary position, but it stays in field for now, and Lauren Delaney can run this one back if Sharks got a try in them before half time, but is knocked on by Laura Perrin, and Wasps put the Sharks under pressure, but will come back for a Wasps penalty. a grab there on a Wasps player chasing after the ball, and they'll have the final chance before this first half, should they choose to do so. Or perhaps Meg Jones will be happy to put it into touch, and she isn't, so they're going to go for the line out. It looks like one last attacking opportunity here for Wasps.
Quick shout out to Rodrigo Mayorga, who says, excellent match. Greetings from Chile. Fantastic to have Rodrigo joining us out there in Latin America. Arguably the most exotic location yet that we've heard from, although plenty of competition from Dubai and Ireland and lots of other places beyond the British shores. But great.
We've been around the world now, Chris, haven't we? I think.
We are. It's great to see the reach of the Alliance Premier 15s and great to see interest in women's rugby in Latin America.
A bit of a drinks break here. This will be the last play of the half. Is Hannah Field down for the Sharks? One of 3 players to have started every game so far this season, along with Nicola Howard and captain Beth Stafford.
Just holding her hamstring there, Hannah, and I think that's probably going to be her done for the game. Yes, indeed. Daisy Hibbert-Jones coming on, and Hannah Field, a key player for Sale, one of their more experienced players, and a key linchpin defensively, but it looks like a hamstring issue potentially for Hannah, which is sad for her today. But good opportunity for Daisy Hibbert-Jones to get on and get 35 minutes plus the last play of this first half, and Sale will want to make sure they don't concede here for sure.
Cleaner Maloney throwing in for Wasps, and they've got one last opportunity here. Can they add to their 3 tries already? Meg Jones doing well there, and Ellie Kildan breaks the first tackle and tries to chip over the top, and is covered well by the Sharks, and very happy for now to break away. A first touch for Daisy Hibbert-Jones, covering well there, and Katie Daly-McLean just pops this into touch. No need to run out from there, and that is half time. A good half from Sale. They've played pretty well, but it's been very, very clinical from Wasps. They lead through tries from Claudia McDonald, Ellie Kildan and Amy Wilson-Hardy. For Sale, it's just Katie Daly-McLean's penalty to show. And Chris, some positives there for Sale, but it's Wasps who lead.
Absolutely. I just want to call out for Daisy Hibbert-Jones there. She'd literally just come on, and Ellie Kildan rampaging forward with pace with a very good kick ahead, and Daisy Hibbert-Jones read it, caught it, ran the ball out, and was able to set up the ruck from which Katie Daly-McLean could kick the ball out of play. So excellent from Hibbert-Jones, straight into the play and snuffing out what could have been another Wasps score. But entertaining first half, Ollie, I would agree. And Wasps showing why they are one of the leading sides in the country. They've certainly got pace in the 3 quarters. They've got pace and invention in their attacking play. And they've certainly shown a way of unpicking the Sale defence, which Sale haven't been able to do at the other end of the field of play. But a good half of Alliance 15's rugby. And let's hope for another good 35 minutes to follow.
Absolutely, Chris. An excellent first half of rugby. Sale have gone through the phases probably more so than we've seen so far. There's been some real continuity in attack. But as Chris said, it hasn't quite worked to good effect, and it's Wasps who lead by 17 points to 3 at half-time here at the Corpacq Stadium. Of course, Wasps looking to bridge the gap between the top 2. Sale, if they can turn this one around, will go 8th in the Alliance Premier 15s, and we're now going to switch attention to another game going on today. Of course, Sale Sharks men are starting their European Champions Cup campaign out in France, and we can now go to France now and join Head of Communications, Sam.
Yeah, Sam Diamond joining us live from Toulon. Bonjour, Sam. Ça va?
Hi, guys. How's it going?
All right, thanks. Is that the extent of your French, Sam?
It is, yeah. Bonjour. Bonjour, ça va, oui bien is about as far as I go.
Very good. Un bien, monsieur, s'il vous plaît, perhaps, but only after the game. We know that, Sam. So give us a feel of what it's like in Toulon. I'm guessing a place that's normally a cauldron of atmosphere is rather different to that.
Well, there's strangely always an atmosphere here, to be honest, Chris. The weather's really good. There's no wind, sun's out. We've just kicked off. Currently looking at a scrum on the halfway. So I think both teams are just feeling each other out at the moment. But it's set to be a good game. Both got strong sides out. So we'll see how we get along.
What are the aspirations, do you think, this season for the European competition, Sam? How important is it in the overall scheme compared to the Gallagher Premiership?
Well, I think just from looking how we've gone on injury-wise, there's quite a few injuries at the moment. So it's obvious that the coaches are looking to to rotate a bit in Europe. But I'd say it's as strong a side as we can put out. Toulon have just won a free kick on the halfway and have gone quickly. My Nonu's just causing a bit of havoc at the moment, but yeah, hopefully we can do a bit here today. I think if we can pick up a result here, it'll stand us in good stead for the competition going forward.
And remind us of the format of the competition in Europe this year, Sam. Sale in a group with Edinburgh and Toulon. So is it home and away with both sides?
Yeah, so we play Edinburgh and Toulon home and away. But the competition split into 2 groups. So our results against the teams in our pool will count towards almost like a league table. It's quite complicated, but in actual fact, it's simpler, if that makes sense. But for example, we'll play Toulon, but Toulon won't play Edinburgh. They'll play another side. But yeah, I think we'll do all right this year.
Well, Sam, thanks very much for joining us live from Toulon. All the best to the men's side. That match, of course, is just kicking off. So we'll try and get a word with Sam perhaps potentially later this afternoon. But all the best, Sam. Thanks for joining us today on Sharks Live.
Time, Chris.
Cheers, Sam.
Cheers,
Sam
Chris.
Diamond there,
Bye.
the Sale media manager who is out in Toulon. Back here at the Corpacq Stadium, we have the chance to catch up with Wales assistant coach Rachel Taylor, who's here today. She's giving her thoughts with our touchline reporter, Carrie Morris.
Hi, Rachel. Welcome to the Hayward Road, sorry. And could you explain to the people at home what you are doing up here and who you are in the Welsh Rugby Union?
Yeah, of course. So my name is Rachel Taylor. I work now with the Welsh national team, so as a skills coach. And I'm here today just to watch some of the Welsh internationals play as part of Sale and also Wasps. So.
And obviously you're very familiar with a couple of the Welsh people on the pitch today. Could you explain what qualities are in those players that bring them to the Welsh Rugby Union?
Yeah, I suppose it's a bit of a mix for us. We've got a few forwards here, which we're quite lucky to be getting some game time at the moment. Obviously, with the current sort of pandemic situation in Wales means that we're not playing rugby at the moment. So for those forwards to be getting sort of high, top quality rugby within the English Premiership is a real bonus for us. And they're pretty tenacious and some strong ball carriers. I know that Gwen Llean's not playing today, but I'm sure they're a big part of what Sale need as a pack going forward.
Yeah, and what is the benefits of this Allianz 15 tournament in terms of developing Welsh talent?
Yeah, I sort of can't say enough about it, to be honest. It's been a great sort of lifeline for us at the moment in ensuring that the girls are getting top end rugby, and it's great that they've got a chance to play against other internationals. Not just English. Obviously, even with Sale, there's a number of different internationals in there. So it's a great experience for them to grow as players on and off the pitch.
And in terms of the Welsh squad, you had quite a rough Six Nations tournament. What are your aspirations now leading up to next year, where you've got the Six Nations tournament and the the World Cup? Yeah, so obviously Warren Abrahams has come in as head coach, and we think we worked out there's about 31 weeks left till the World Cup. So there's not a lot of time for us to do probably as much as we would want with the players, but for us it's probably about building into the following World Cup. So it's a real opportunity for the players that are playing today to put their hands up and to get selected into the national squad. Yes, definitely. Thank you very much, Rachel. Thank you very much.
Rachel Taylor there, the Wales assistant coach, talking pitch side with Carrie Morris. Interesting to hear there, Ollie, that Rachel says only 31 weeks to the World Cup, so she's already talking in weeks, but actually the next World Cup is what Wales are really aiming for. So this is clearly a nation that is still developing their rugby and are realistic perhaps about what is going to be possible in New Zealand.
Well, I suppose it's about putting those building blocks in place, Chris, isn't it? Perhaps next year will come too early for Wales in terms of competing in the later stages of that World Cup, but in 5 years' time, more players are getting experience. There's plenty of Welsh players on show here today. Sale have got a few in their lineup. And Wasps have got
Gemma Rowland, yeah.
Gemma Rowland, of course, yes. So plenty of Wales players on show, and it is all about building. But the building blocks you put in place now will pay dividends in 5, 9, 13 years' time. It's all about developing that, and the more Welsh players that young Welsh girls see playing in matches like this today can only be helpful.
And of course, plenty of Welsh representation, as Ollie mentions, in the Sale squad. No Gwen Pears today. She is injured, but Molly Kelly hooking, very much involved with the Welsh setup. Tulare Wyn Davis in the second row as well. and Lisa Newman on the wing. So lots of Welsh interest in the Sale side. Half-time here at the Corpacq Stadium. If you're just joining us on Sharks Live, it's Sale Sharks 3, Wasps Ladies 17. A first half where Sale have endeavoured and fought hard at the breakdown, had much the better of territory and possession overall, but Wasps have shown their real quality in the Sale 22, getting over for 3 scores. Just keeping you up to speed with what's happening elsewhere in the Alliance Premier 15s this afternoon at Bristol. Local derby between Bristol and Worcester. They started at 2 o'clock in that game, and it's now Bristol Bears 12, Worcester 5. Let's get back pitch side as Carrie Morris ahead of the second half is with Darren Lamont.
Hi, Darren.
Hiya.
How was that first half for you?
Yeah, a little bit frustrating. We're playing in some good areas near their 22 in some real pressure areas, but it's just not coming off. So a little bit of skill errors, some inconsistent line out, but yeah, pretty encouraged in terms of where we're playing, but we just need to get it over the line a little bit.
Yeah, I've seen people at home say that Sale are definitely still in the game. What do they need to pick up on this half in terms of improving their performance?
Yeah, probably executing one of these opportunities we're having. I think it's pretty important that we score within the next 10 or 15 minutes, and then just keep trying to deal with their threats. You know, they're third in the league, they're a great outfit, and we're matching them again. But yeah, without sounding predictable, inevitable stuff we could do with getting the next score really, and then hopefully we can add a little bit of pressure to a good Wasps side, and we can be there at the end, thereabouts.
Yeah, they're certainly competing, and I'm sure they will keep doing this half. Good luck.
Cheers, thank you.
Thank you to Carrie there, down pitch side with Darren Lamont. And Chris, Darren said there about how important this first 10 minutes of the second half is going to be. Sale obviously 17-13 down, and really, if they had to have any chance in this game, they do need the next points on the board.
Well, that's absolutely right, Ollie. Yes, I think if Wasps certainly score another try, 22-3 is a long way back in 35 minutes. So it is an important phase of the game, the first few minutes after half-time. It's always important, and Darren commenting there that the line-out has been inconsistent for Sale in the first half, and clearly they want to make sure they take one of the chances that they've had. Haven't had a clear chance as such. There hasn't really been a piece of play where you think, well, there's an overlap that wasn't taken, or a key knock-on at a particular point where the try line was beckoning, but they have had a number of phases of play where a handling error at a key time or a strong Wasps tackle has ultimately meant that Sale have lost the field position and have lost the opportunity. But they're competing really well, and I think in the period of the season that they've had so far, the side is still developing, as we've said, and competing more and more each week. And against a top side like Wasps, it was always going to be a test today. And Sale are seeing, how a team very much in the upper echelons of the Premier 15s take their opportunities when they're in the opposition 22, and that's been clear to see in the opening 35.
Just an update of when we're next with you on Sharks Live. We'll be at the AJ Bell Stadium for the Gallagher Premiership match between Sale Sharks and Wasps again. So join us then for commentary of that one, Sale against Wasps in the Gallagher Premiership. So if you're around on the 27th and fancy joining us for commentary, do so. Just audio for that one, but we've still got the second half coming up here first and foremost. And
we'll also keep tabs on developments in Toulon with Sam Diamond. We heard from Sam, the Sale Sharks communications manager, just as that game was kicking off. Some big names in that Toulon side, the likes of Nonu and Estebet and Sergio Parise, Ollie, some perhaps in the twilight years perhaps of their careers now, but some serious players in that Toulon side this afternoon.
It's never easy to win in France, Chris, always very strong at home. It's almost, over the years, it's almost you don't win in France, but you always beat the French sides at home. It often seems to be that way, doesn't it? So a real tough challenge for the Sharks men's side today. But we're about to get this second half underway here at the Corpacq Stadium. Both sides on their way back out onto the pitch. Wasps leading by 17 points to 13 at half-time. 3 tries for them in the first half. Katie Daly-McLean's penalty. The only point Sale have to show for a decent effort in that first period. Could have easily gone over for a try of their own, but all to do in this second 35 minutes.
Just a few more messages coming in through the social channels. Please keep sending these, whether you're watching us via Twitter or Facebook or YouTube. We've heard from Tanya Barnard, who says, well played Wasps, good try Amy Wilson-Hardy. And Tanya is watching in Johannesburg, South Africa. Hello, Tanya. Srirat Arthur says, come on, Daisy Hibbert-Jones. And Vicky Petch says, hello from snowy Colorado. It is always snowy in Colorado, one of the coldest places in the world. So great to have Vicky Petch with us today. Thanks, Vicky.
Underway in this second half. Sale in possession. Just shy of their own 10-metre line. Mari Grieve happy for now to keep it in her forwards, and the Sharks going through the phases. Laura Perrin driving in there. Comes out to Katie Daly-McLean, and she gives it to Molly Kelly, who tries a outlandish offload and has gone into the hands of Amy Wilson-Hardy, and not quite what was required there from Molly Kelly, and it's a Wasps ball when they driving into the Sharks 22 is Samantha Monaghan, and Wasps looking for their bonus point try. Jones gives it to Rowland, and it comes out onto this right hand side to Kildunn, and it looks like it might be a fourth Wasps try here, but it isn't. Great cover defence there from Katie Daly-McLean. It looked for one moment as if Wasps were going to add their bonus point score. Katie Mason bursting towards the try line, but great work from Daly-McLean, and the Sharks do well to scramble and prevent Wasps from scoring their fourth try.
Well, that was a really important tackle from Katie Daly-McLean, as you were saying, Ollie, and a try in that opening minute there would really have been a sucker punch for Sale towards the rest of this game. But still a decent position for Wasps. A penalty for offside in their favour, awarded by referee Dan Rowlands, and still plenty of defending for Sale to do.
Meg Jones puts the ball into touch. It'll be a Wasps line out.
Another message coming in from Dubai from Nigel White. Says, come on, Sale Sharks, your attacks will pay off. So never known so many people watching in Dubai, Ollie, but fantastic that we've got such a viewership from the Emirates today.
Wasps good off that maul, and they're driving towards the Sharks line. And just 5 metres out now. Meg Jones tries the crossfield kick, and all on her own out there is Katie Mason, and she can't quite make the take. Meg Jones has used the crossfield kick to good effect well so far, but it just evades Katie Mason, and another opportunity there for Wasps go begging, chasing that bonus point, and the Sharks are hanging on a little bit here, Chris.
They are indeed. Change at hooker at half-time for Sale. Scarlett Fielding, formerly of Coldy Rugby Club and Birkenhead Park, comes on for Molly Kelly at hooker. But as you say, Ollie, sustained defensive effort required here from the Sale Sharks now to keep Wasps at bay.
Just an update from Toulon. 0-0 between Toulon and Sale, as Wasps driving well off their line out, and they could add a fourth try here. Good defensive work from Georgie Perris-Redding. Stops Wasps short of the try line. A good start to this second half from the visitors. Cara Cooney drives in this time. Kept in the forwards for now. It's Elizabeth Craik driving towards the line. She could well be over here. Wasps are claiming a try in there. It's been given. Dan Rowlands has given the tries. Elizabeth Craik, who's gone over for Wasps. It's the bonus point score for the visitors. In very quickly in this second half, if they got back on top. We spoke at half time to Darren Lamman, and he said it was crucial Sale got on the scoreboard first, but it's the visitors who have done so, and a bonus point in the bag.
Once more, Wasps showing that every time they go into the 22, it might take them a couple of attempts, but they ultimately come back with points. And good work from Liz Craik. We were chatting about her earlier, the versatile forward for Wasps, powering her way over. And it's a long way back now for Sale in this second half, with the conversion for Meg Jones pretty much a formality, you'd think, from this range. So important messaging behind the post now for Beth Stafford to give to her players to really think about how they're going to plan the rest of this game and try and ensure that they at least stem the tide here.
Simple kick for Meg Jones. 24-3 now to the visitors. Bonus point in the bag. Sale will just want to make sure things don't get out of hand here in this second half. Still a chance here, a couple of tries, and you never know in rugby. So important to get this restart right.
Yeah, Sale have got to get a foothold in this second half, Ollie. They haven't really had one in the 5 minutes since half-time. No real possession to speak of, no phases. So important restart here for Katie Daly-McLean to really try and get right.
Straight into the hands of the try scorer, Liz Craik. Claudia McDonald setting up for the box kick. We saw in a Premiership game last week, Luke Pearce hurrying up the players at the ruck in a box kick. I wonder if we'll start to see more of that in the next few weeks. And Sale with possession, just inside the Wasps half. Tulare Wynne Davis driving up onto the 10-metre line. Daly-McLean into the hands of Beth Stafford. Sale go out onto the right-hand side, but some good cover defence there from Wasps, and the Sharks have gone backwards and are forced to play from the halfway line. The Wasps defence has been very good so far, and there's a turnover here. Sharks go in at the side, a penalty to Wasps, and Meg Jones have another opportunity to pin Sale back inside their own half.
Yeah, disappointing that from a Sale perspective, Ollie, having just got a little bit of a foothold on possession for a bit to then be penalised. But perhaps a chance to build something from deep here, maybe.
Not the best kick from Meg Jones, is kept in, and Sale can break from inside their own half.
You always feel with Lauren Delaney, if you just give her any space, you can really attack it. But penalised for holding on at the breakdown.
Clean and Maloney there doing the good work for Wasps at the breakdown, and Meg Jones will get the chance to right the wrongs of that previous kick that didn't make touch. Dan Rowland's just having a word with Sale skipper Beth Stafford. Perhaps a final warning, although it is unusual to see that on a holding on penalty, a final warning.
Yes, you wonder whether Rowlands is tempted to head for a yellow card again. A couple more messages coming through on the socials. Kat Thompson, good afternoon to you, Kat. She says, come on, Sam Monaghan, playing in the second row for Wasps this afternoon, the former Lewis Ladies player. And Fiona Collett, a top fan on Facebook, says, let's go Sharks.
Great to hear so many of you getting in touch and join the streams. It's an absolute pleasure to bring the matches to you. Hopefully it won't be too long before we can get fans back inside stadiums. I saw last week Wasps playing in Tier 2. You can have up to 2,000 fans in Tier 2 areas, and hosted some fans for their win over Loughborough. So hopefully in the not too distant future we can get some fans back inside the Corpacq Stadium in the new year. That would be great to see as Meg Jones lines up this 3 points, looking to add to her points tally this season. Already scored the most points in the Alliance Premier 15s, came in today with 49, already kicked 2 conversions. Can she add another 3 points here? And she does so, and it's Sale Sharks 3, Wasps Ladies 27.
Consolidation there from Jones from Wasps' scoreboard position here. They've already got their bonus point try up to 27 points. They're averaging 39 points per game in this competition so far this season. They've put over 100 points on the DMP Sharks and 64 points on Bristol. So they are heavy point scorers. And Sale will need to ensure it's a really strong defensive effort from here to keep the scoreboard in check and start to think about perhaps closing that gap a little bit. But a real mountain to climb for Sale now in terms of potentially winning this game for sure.
Lauren Delaney breaks the initial tackle there, and Sale are inside the Wasps half. Houghton on the right-hand side, and an inside offload from Laura Perrin back to Houghton, and the Sharks have possession. They've had plenty of it so far without managing to break down this Wasps outfit. Wasps soaked up plenty of pressure in their win over Loughborough last week, and they've done so again here. And Sale try and use the outside and is knocked on by Alicia Colton. It looks like she was trying the offload, but it's gone wrong, and it'll be a Wasps free kick from that knock on from Colton. And again, plenty of endeavour from the Sharks. They've tried to play a lot of rugby, but hasn't quite paid off, and it'll be Wasps ball.
I see for all our viewers in Dubai this afternoon, Ollie, it's 23 degrees out there at the moment with a forecast of 26 tomorrow. I must say I'm very envious as we stand here in about 7 or 8 Celsius here in Sale. But a big thank you that those of you in Dubai have decided to put the sunbathing to one side, at least for 70 minutes, and join us watching this game.
Wasps working well again. It's Kill done. So dangerous, a ball in hand coming into the line from fullback is the England international. One of Wasps' main threat today, and Meg Jones tries the offload and his scrappy ball from Wasps. Not what we've seen from them so far. They've been pretty consistent in their attacking work. And Rowena Burnfield's now on the field, of course, an England international of her own. Plenty of reinforcements on that Wasps bench of real quality as Meg Jones tries a jink and is held on well by Sarah Mitchelson. Meg Jones tries a chip through, but it's blocked, and Wasps will push back and have to go again. Burnfield gives a long pass out to the right-hand side to Harriet Miller-Mills. It's kicked through, and Katie Mason's chasing that kick. Lauren Delaney forced to cover. She does so well, and it'll be Sharks' ball deep inside their own 22, not where they'll want to be playing from. Again, Wasps causing trouble at this breakdown. I do wonder whether Sal need to get more players in there. It comes back to Katie Daly-McLean, very happy to kick that one into touch. A slightly frantic period of play there, Chris.
Yes, it is, and Sale ultimately having to do a fair bit of defensive work territorially. We said in the first half Sale had much the better of territory and possession. Well, in the 12 minutes or so since the second half began, Sale have only made the very occasional foray over the halfway line, so a bit of a turning of the tables from the first half from what we saw in terms of possession and territory. And clearly Wasps have the additional confidence and opportunity to relax looking at the scoreboard, knowing that they are already probably over the hill and out of reach for Sale this afternoon. Change at scrum half for Sale Sharks as Jess Roberts comes on for Mari Grieve, and also some changes at prop. I can see that Katie Horton's coming off, and I think it might be Alicia Carlton as well, but I'll confirm that for you in just a moment.
Brea Lung on for a debut. First appearance in a Sharks shirt. She's the Welsh. Also some more changes on. Jess Wood and Jess Roberts and Vicky Irwin all on for the Sharks. So reinforcements on, sent on by Darren Lamont.
And I wonder whether that's an indication that Darren Lamont perhaps thinking this game is out of reach and an opportunity to give some other players some game time.
Wasps ball just on the Sharks 22, looking to add a 5th try. And they've lost possession. Claudia McDonald not able to get that ball away, and there's another penalty to Wasps. The Sharks straying offside. This one's straight in front of the post as well. If Meg Jones did decide to go for this, it would be a very simple kick, and she does. And Wasps happy to just rack up the score here, Chris.
Yeah, Wasps turning the screw, Ollie, and makes complete sense from a Wasps perspective. They already got the bonus point for the try. Might as well just keep their scoreboard ticking upwards. Let's check in again with the socials. Come on, you Sale, says Dazza, and a similar message from Nia Derwid. And a nice message here from Trev Williams. Hello, Trev. He says, I can't compete with the exotic locations. We'll always follow the Wasps ladies from Hereford. Well, good to have you down in Hereford, Trev, joining in today. Beautiful part of the world. And I hope you're enjoying the stream. I'm sure you're certainly enjoying the Wasp performance and the scoreline.
Simple kick to Meg Jones, and she obliges. Wasps extend their lead to 30 points to 3. 22 minutes to go in this one, and it's all about limiting the damage now, really, Chris, isn't it? Don't want to lose too many more points. Points difference at the end of the season could make a massive difference, and I'm sure Wasps are thinking the same as well.
Yes, that's certainly the case. I'm sure Sale will want to try and make sure they can get a try on the board this afternoon and try and show that they can penetrate this Wasps defensive line. There's a knock-on that should help.
Knocked on by Liz Craig, picked up by Lisa Newman, and an opportunity for Sale. Here's Vicky Owen with her first touch. A nice step there, and Sale up towards the Wasps 22. Katie Daly-McLean uses the wraparound, but looks like Vicky Owen's down after that first touch. We'll let you know her progress. She's back on her feet, but Sale have gone backwards. They were up towards the 22, but they've gone backwards again here. Teleri Wynne-Davis carries well, trying to get the Sharks back on the back foot. Perrin gives a long looping pass in. Irwin bursts into the 22, but will come back for a free kick to Wasps. The ball went forward. A nice chip from Vicky Irwin. It looked as if it would come off had we not come back for the knock on, and another missed chance there for Sale. And there'll be some frustration there, Chris, but there are definitely positives there.
Yeah, nice chip for a second row there from Vicky Irwin, having just entered the fray. So positive signs there from a Sale perspective, and as you say, Ollie, lots of changes from the Sale bench to freshen up the Sale effort in the remaining 20 minutes or so. But Wasps have demonstrated today what they can bring, and a side full of internationals and full of quality, and Sale having to play catch up in the last quarter of this game. But good opportunity here for a number of the Sale fringe players to get some game time against a top team.
Keel Dunn bursting down the outside there and gave the inside ball to Amy Wilson-Hardy, and Wasps did have possession, but they've turned the ball over. A good breakaway there from the visitors, but the Sharks have got the ball back. Daly McLean with a pass onto the outside, and Irwin tries to chip and chase again there. Can she collect her own kick? She can't, and this might break for Wasps. Amy Wilson, Katie Mason on that right-hand side. The visitors searching for another score. Maud Muir driving in. Teleri Wynne-Davis having to get out of the way there. Is a penalty advantage for Wasps. Another penalty. They've had plenty in this second half. Meg Jones tries the crossfield kick again and is covered well. Mark is called, but will come back for the penalty. Meg Jones has been very happy to just knock these over from a relatively simple distance. I wonder if she'll do the same here.
Yeah, a bit further out and right of the post, but nice decision for Meg Jones to have to make. Does she kick to the corner or does she go for the posts? Thank you very much to Jo Thomas for her message, sending a message to Brea Leung, who's just come on for her Sale Sharks debut. She says, "Come on Brea, good luck from all of Bangor Uni women's team."
Meg Jones not choosing this time to go for the points. A line out for Wasps, leading by 30 points to 30, approaching the midway point of this second half. Looking to rack up the points in their pursuit of Harlequins and Saracens, the top two in the table. They were, of course, meant to be meeting today, but called off because of a positive COVID test at Saracens, and some more changes being lined up for Sale. Looks like Vicky Irwin's coming on in the centre.
So we've now got two Vicky Irwins on for Sale. Commentator's nightmare for us, Ollie.
Spelt exactly the same as well, Chris.
Exactly. Very unusual, I must say, and particularly with perhaps you might have thought Joe Smith or a name like that, but to get two Vicky Irwins in the same side, it really is unusual.
I've certainly never seen it before, Chris, that's for sure. As Sale turn over well at that line out, and a slightly scrappy ball, and Katie Daly McLean having to jink from her own way inside of 22, but we'll come back for the free kick. A chance for Katie Daly McLean to clear her lines, which she does so, puts the ball into touch. Of course, it'll be a Wasps throw just between the 10-metre line and the halfway lane.
I must say, Ollie, when we do have fans back inside the Corpacq Stadium, I am hopeful that there is a small pocket of them that will start up a chant of "there's only two Vicky Irwins," because I think there's a gap in the market for that one.
I don't know what to say to that, Chris, but it's a great idea. That's what we want to see. If you're ever coming down to Corpacq Road, Chris will listen out for that. So the first game back with fans, if you could come down and sing that for Chris, that'll be much appreciated. As Sale have possession on their own 10-metre line. Again, it's scrappy ball. Daly McLean uses Vicky Irwin in midfield. Wasps very happy to commit to the breakdown when they need to, but leave it when they don't. And Daly McLean tries to chip, but it's gone straight into a Wasp hand, and the visitors have the ball again. Said had a lot of possession in that first half, but the second half has really been all Wasps, really showing their quality. I think, if anything, this is a real lesson for Darren Lamon and his side when they watch this one back on Tuesday night. Almost the level you need to play at to try and win this league. They're only in their first year, of course, Chris, but it's the kind of quality you're going to come up against season in, season out.
It is, and I think we're starting to see in the Premier 15s that there are Saracens, Harlequins, from whose camp we heard pre-kickoff today when we spoke to Christine Sommer, Loughborough and Wasps, and those 4 top teams are probably a fair way ahead of the rest, I think. I think that's what we're starting to see in the table, is that those 4 are going to be very, very difficult to beat. But from numbers 5 down to 10, Sale have proved they've been very competitive at Gloucester Hartpury a few weeks ago. Lost here to Bristol in a game where the scoreline probably did not fairly reflect the game, and clearly a victory for Sale over Worcester a couple of weeks back. So I think the gap to a lot of the teams is very manageable for Sale, and the more that the team continue to develop and play together, I think some of those opponents can certainly be competed with, and I'm confident Sale will put a fair few more victories in the column before the end of the season. But Wasps, Loughborough, Saracens and Harlequins, I think, are showing their development as being probably a step ahead of maybe the other 6 sides in this division at the moment.
Just an update from Toulon is, unfortunately, the Sale Sharks men are 13-0 down at the moment out in France. Remember to head over to BT Sport after this game is finished and see if the men can turn that one around and get their European Champions Cup campaign off to the perfect start.
Got some support from Jess Roberts coming through on the socials as we take this water break with 16 minutes left on the clock. Ollie, Amy Prince starts by saying, "Come on, Jess Roberts, we love you lots. Go smash it, girl." So Jess Roberts on at scrum half for Sale in place of Mari Grieve. And Simon James says, "Go Jess Roberts," from Ammanford in Wales. Thank you, Simon.
16 minutes to go in this one. Wasps leading by 30 points to 30. A couple of changes for Wasps. Meg Jones coming off, as is Claudia McDonald, so a change at halfback, replaced by Lucy Nye and Flo Williams.
Yeah, a chance for Giselle Mather to give all of her squad a run out as well this afternoon with this game now wrapped up.
I was excited about watching Meg Jones today, Chris. An excellent player. Scored the most points in the Alliance Premier 15s, and she's delivered again today. Been really instrumental at fly half for Wasps. Runs the show alongside the likes of Ellie Kildunn, and missing the likes of Abby Dow as well, who plays such a crucial role.
Yes, that shows the depth that Wasps have got, that a player of Dow's quality out injured today has barely been missed.
It's the Sharks this time with the ball. Can they finally get that first try on the board? It comes out onto this left-hand side with Lisa Newman inside the Wasps 22. A great initial burst from Newman, and she breaks the first tackle. A chance here for the Sharks. Can they get their first try on the board? It's Stafford this time. Replacement scrum half, Jess Roberts, shepherding her forwards well for now. It's Daly McLean who tries the crossfield kick. It's a few Sharks over there, and it's taken a bounce. Can a Sharks player get on the ball? They can. Penalised for offside. We saw in the Worcester game how effective the crossfield kick can be. I just wonder there, Chris, whether it might have been better to keep the ball in hand when you haven't had that many opportunities in the 22 in this second half.
Yeah, I mean, it's a favoured approach of Katie Daly-McLean, isn't it, to attempt that cross kick when Sale are in a strong attacking position, and on that occasion unsuccessful. It of course led to the try for Alex Wallace a couple of weeks back against Worcester, but on that occasion not working. And Molly Kelly, I wrongly said earlier in the half that Scarlett Fielding was on for Molly Kelly. Sorry about that. That was something that was announced in the stadium. Molly Kelly still very much out there, competing on that occasion and not able to score the try. Had some more messages of support in for Jess Roberts. Thank you very much to Joe Smith, who says, "Go Jess Roberts, my little powerhouse. Love from a very proud mother-in-law."
Wasps in possession. Inside their own half is Kildunn trying to go around the outside of Newman, but Newman does well to shepherd Kildunn, but she steps inside. That was a brilliant step. She's got brilliant feet. Has Ellie Kildunn, and Wasps retain possession. Harriet Miller-Mills driving up this time. Rowena Burnfield on in this second half. The kind of player that shows just the kind of depth that Wasps have in Replacement fly half, Flo Williams kicks away this time, but straight into the hands of Lisa Newman, and the Sharks can run this one back, and it's the home side that have got their hands on the ball on halfway, still searching for the first try of the game for the Sharks.
Good drive there from Brea Lung on her debut.
Daly McLean. And it's intercepted by Cleaner Maloney, but the ball is gone forward. Katie Daly McLean's pass finding the wrong person there. We'll have a bit of a break in play. Laura Perrin down for the Sharks with about 13 minutes to go in this one.
Another message in from Mark Craig. Thanks, Mark, very much for your message. Mark says it's fantastic that you're able to run your own live stream. It's so important for the game, brings the game to the mainstream and supports fans. Thank you very much, Mark. Well, it's our privilege to bring you the live stream today, and we're really pleased that you've been able to enjoy it with us. And Susan Davis says, "Go Sharks" from Finland. She's a top Facebook fan, so great that we've reached as far as Finland in the north and Dubai in the east and down south to Chile today. And Susan very kindly says, "Thank you both for the brilliant commentary." Well, it's our pleasure, Susan. It's a real privilege for Ollie and I to be here today when we're still playing rugby behind closed doors, and hopefully, as we were mentioning earlier, it won't be too long in the new year that fans can return and watch the quality of the Alliance Premier 15s live with us here at Sale.
Just a break in play here. 13 minutes to go in this second half. Sale Sharks 3, Wasps Ladies 30. Wasps closing the gap on Harlequins and Saracens at the top of the table. Another good win for them today. Their third in a row in the Alliance Premier 15s, and they are really starting to build something, are the visitors. But plenty of positives for Sale as well. Could easily have had a couple of tries on another day, and there's still 13 minutes to go as captain Beth Stafford gets up and plays on. She's been one of the three players, as we mentioned earlier, to have started every game, and she rarely comes off injured, and it's good to see her back up on her feet.
And looking forward, Ollie, next week Sale make the long trip down to Exeter. Exeter, another of the teams new to the Premier 15s this season. Hopefully will be a game where Sale can be really, really competitive. And then on the 2nd of January, it's the rearranged trip up to the DMP Durham Sharks, who are without a win so far this season. So from a Sale perspective, there'd be, I think, a lot of hope in the camp that despite the defeat today that we're, I think, almost inevitably going to see in 13 minutes' time, the outlook is still positive for the coming weeks to see Sale start to climb away from the bottom of the table and up from their current 9th place, perhaps up a couple of places.
Vicky Irwin getting her hands on the ball for the first time there, and is Lisa Newman doing well to drive forward, and the Sharks have possession. A nice little dummy initially from Katie Daly McLean. She eventually gives the ball away, but again, there's someone from Wasps over the ball. It is Rowena Burnfield that time, causing havoc at the ruck. It looks as if it might be another turnover here for Wasps. Their defence.
The Wasps' defence is very flat, Ollie. Sorry to cut in, but I mean, Sale have got so little space when they spin the ball along the back line. The yellow shirts are up on them almost instantaneously.
Defensively excellent. Chris saw it last week as well against Loughborough. We've seen it today. Very, very strong defensively. They kept Emily Scarrett very quiet last week down in that game, and they've kept Katie Daly McLean quiet today. But the Sharks have the ball inside their own half. Can they finally get that try? They've worked really hard in this second half, defended for a lot of it, and can they find some kind of reward in these last 12 minutes? Good defence again there from Wasps. Mauldmer coming off quickly off the line, and again, as Chris said just then, very flat off the line, very quick off the line, giving the Sharks very little time to play with. As Laura Perrin drives in again, she's kept carrying all afternoon to good effect. Not the best pass from Jess Roberts, and the Sharks have gone backwards again, and it's scrappy breakdown ball, and Wasps have turned this one over. Replacement scrum half, Lucy Nye, shepherding her forwards around the field. It's Miller Mills this time. She breaks the initial tackle. Kildun couldn't take the ball there. Flo Williams tried a switch almost, and Kildun lost that one, and This time it's Wasps who make a mistake in possession. It's a Sharks free kick.
Further support for Jess Roberts. We've just heard from Jess's proud mother-in-law, Jo Smith. Thanks again, Jo, for getting in touch. Now hearing from Barnsley Ladies Rugby Club, who say, can't wait to come and cheer the Sharks on. We're so proud of you, Jess Roberts. Thank you for allowing us to see the games via streaming. Well, you're most welcome. And we look forward to welcoming the Barnsley Ladies here, hopefully in a few weeks.
A real tough one that there for Sale. In possession on the halfway line and turned over again at the breakdown. I'm sure Giselle Maver will be delighted with how her team have operated in defence and at the breakdown. Caused a lot of havoc in that area, and they've got a chance here with the line out just outside the Sharks 22. Less than 10 minutes to go in this one.
Well, Wasps have really limited Sale in this second half, Ollie. I can only remember really a couple of occasions when Sale have been up in the Wasps 22. One was the Daly McLean cross kick that didn't quite work, and one was the chip through from Vicky Irwin, second row Vicky Irwin, when she came on as a replacement, where the whistle had just gone previously. But otherwise, Wasps have really controlled this match, having built that lead up at half-time. I haven't really given Sale a sniff of penetrating their line in this second half.
Freya Helen on for the Sharks. Molly Kelly making way. Wasps ball, but it's a turnover. This time it's the away side that are penalised. And the Sharks can try and find some territory. They've had very limited amounts of it in this second period. Wasps have really turned the screw, and that kick just about makes it into touch, and it'll be a Sharks line out on the halfway line. 9 minutes to go in this one. Just a reminder, we'll be back on December the 27th at the AJ Bell, where Wasps are also the visitors for the Gallagher Premiership match. So make sure you tune in for that one, and give us your thoughts down in the comments on this game. Sharks fans, what's worked well, what could be improved on? And Wasps fans, how have your team performed? You must be pleased with the results. So please give us your comments down in the comments, and we'll see if we can read some of those out as the rest of this game plays out. Another penalty to Sale, and I'm sure we'll see Katie Daly McLean further kick this into the Wasps half.
Well, just under 8.5 minutes to play, Ollie. I think Sale will be really keen to emerge from this game with a try. It's a slightly surprising kick from Daly McLean.
Just a hand up there from Katie Daly McLean to apologise. Knowing there she hasn't quite got that one right, and Wasps will have the 22. Flo Williams can clear Wasps' lines here. Kicks it back towards Katie Daly McLean, who'll get another chance. She gives it to Lauren Delaney. Wasps again proving a nuisance at the break time, but it's a penalty, and it's taken quickly by Jess Roberts.
Good idea that from Roberts, trying to do what Claudia McDonald did in the first half so successfully for Wasps. What can Sale do here?
Laura Perrin tries the offload and is knocked on, and there'll be a lot of frustration there. Jess Roberts had done so well to take that penalty quickly, but hasn't quite worked out. Another knock on, and some of those offloads today, Chris, probably haven't quite been on as much as perhaps they have seemed.
Yeah, absolutely right option, I think, from Jess Roberts, trying to move quickly and catch the Wasps' defence unawares, but the handling errors have mounted up for Sale this afternoon, and I think when they watch that back, that'll certainly be something to work on. But a great hit there from Brea Lung, and terrific support from the Sale bench. The Sale bench continuing to fully back the 15 on the field of play as this match starts to wind down into the last 6.5 minutes or so.
Well, I think it's a really good sign, Chris, the way that this Sale defensive line keeps pushing up, keeps making those big hits, and how much passion we're seeing from the touchline as well. You know, it would be easy in matches like this to fall away and the opposition could rack up the score, but we certainly haven't seen that from Sale.
Absolutely.
And it's Wasps ball in the midfield, driven up well by Andrea Stuck. Comes out onto this right-hand side. Sale doing what they've done for most of this second half in defence, just trying to scramble as much as they can. This Wasps attack has been excellent as Burnfield drives up and gives the offload to Maud Murr. Wasps come again, and a little kick in behind from Flo Williams, and Ellie Kildunn's chasing this one, but it bounces into touch. More good game management there from Wasps, pinning Sale back, and the Sharks will be forced to play from just outside their own 22.
Half-time in France, it's Toulon 16, Sale 0, so work to do for Paul Deacon's side in the second half in France there. We'll see if we can connect with Sam Diamond, the media and communications manager, at the conclusion of this match, where we'll also catch up with reaction from the Sale camp to this particular game.
Good line out there from Sale. Has improved in this second half from a few issues in the first half. Rowena Burnfield causing some havoc in the breakdown again, and the Sharks happy to keep this in the forwards for now. It's been turned over. I'm not quite sure how. It's been turned over illegally, and
hand in the ruck there, yeah.
Dan Rowlands agreed, and Katie Daly-McLean will look to get this kick into touch right. I'm sure she won't be trying anything too far here. We'll just want to get the line out and try and build that attacking opportunity, and see in these final 4 minutes if the Sharks can get a score on the board heading into that big game down at Exeter next week, and then the DMP Durham Sharks in January. 2 real chances for Sale to build on that first win against Worcester a few weeks ago. As Chris said earlier, the league is almost splitting into two a little bit, and Sale have 2 big opportunities in the next 2 or 3 weeks or so to try and get another victory on the board. And can they get a final try here? It's a nice breakthrough from Jess Roberts, and she gives a show and go, and she bursts towards the Wasps 22. Excellent work.
Very high tackle,
from
that.
Jess Roberts.
Very high.
Very high tackle. The Sharks clearly aren't happy with this one. I do wonder whether Dan Rowlands might look for something else here rather than just a penalty. He's going to speak to his touch judge. And
well, it was a great break again from Jess Roberts. She's really looked lively since she's come on at scrum half. Excellent break. And as the cover came across, that did look a very high tackle. So at least a penalty. Let's see. I think it probably will be a card, and it is a card indeed.
Cleaner Maloney being sent to the sin bin. So Wasps down to 14 for these final 3.5 minutes, and Katie Daly-McLean kicks the ball into touch about 7 metres out from the Wasps line. Can Sale finish with a flourish here? It would be a nice way to round this one off. Although Sale have been the second best side in this one, they do deserve a try. They've had plenty of opportunities, and can they find a way over here?
Quick message from Holly Howard. She says, a shout out to the Staff's Uni women's rugby team, always looking for new players. Thanks, Holly.
The first part of the line out done well. Beth Stafford takes the ball, and the Sharks drive towards the Wasps line. Can they add that first try they've been looking for all day? Dan Rowlands is giving Sale the advantage. They'll get another shot at this at least, but can they find that try here? Still driving towards the line. It's come to the floor. Is at the base of the ruck. Roberts to the right-hand side to Daly-McLean. She tries the crossfield kick again with the advantage. Is there someone underneath it? Is Scrappy can get down on the ball. It's Lauren Delaney who has, and it's a Sharks try. That crossfield kick finally works. It was Scrappy from Wasps trying to collect the ball, and Lauren Delaney dots down for a second try of the season, and the Sharks have finally got a score on the board, and it's nothing more than they deserve, Chris.
Absolutely. A try well merited from a Sale Sharks effort that has been unstinting throughout the 70 minutes, and Lauren Delaney for the second time this season crossing the whitewash for Sale, and Katie Daly-McLean's trusted cross kick coming off on that occasion. So good reward for Sale, a hard-working performance. It will be in vain this afternoon, but Sale's temerity and determination absolutely borne out there. But that was very much down to Jess Roberts' break that set all that up, brought down illegally, drawing the high tackle and the yellow card that resulted from it, and that's what led to the position. Excellent work from Nicola Howard as well in the line out this afternoon for Sale. I think she's been excellent there in securing some really good ball. Now then, can Daly-McLean add the extras?
A tough kick from Katie Daly-McLean is bending round, but not quite. So Sale up onto 8 points, but trailing by 30 points to 8. And I agree with you there, Chris, on Nicola Howard. And it's no surprise she's played every game this season. When we've watched her 3 times, she's been excellent and a real integral part of this side.
We've got to have a functioning set piece to be a successful side, and arguably none more important than the line out to really secure your own throw and where possible to disrupt the opposition. And Nicola Howard very strong there again this afternoon for Sale. Kim Buckley's been in touch. Well done, ladies. Whoop whoop, she says. Absolutely right.
So into the final minute here. Wasps leading by 30 points to 8. Will there be any more action in this really exciting game? It's been a great game to watch, actually. Both sides have played some great rugby. Wasps are going to run out deserved winners, but Sharks have more than played their part in this one. And can they find one more score as this second half comes to a close? The Sharks with possession just shy off the halfway line. Slow ball for now. It comes out to the right-hand side. Jess Roberts has been excellent since coming on, and she gives it to Daly McLean there. It's Irwin on that right-hand side again. Katie Daly McLean tries the kick over the top. It's banked straight into touch, so it will be a Wasps line-out. I think we'll have one more play here, just enough time for one more play.
Trev Williams has been back in touch. Trev from Hereford, who says he's pleased with the Wasps' tries and victory. Plenty of free kicks and penalties conceded, however. Sale have definitely given us a great game. Thank you, Trev, for getting in touch. We've just heard that the Sale player of the match this afternoon is their captain, number 8, Beth Stafford. And we will do our very best with our touchline reporter, Carrie Morris, to catch up with Beth as soon as possible after the full-time whistle blows. So stay with us on Sale Sharks Live for that one.
One final play in this one. Will we see any further action in these final moments? And the line out is a scrappy one, but Wasps have possession. Will they want to play on here, or will they just kick it into touch? It looks as if for now they're going to see if they can add to their 30 points already on the scoreboard. Katie Daly McLean up quickly. Burnfield tries an outlandish offload and is fallen into a Shark's hand, but it's knocked on, and for one moment it looked as if the game would come to a close there. We've got a free kick now for the knock-on. It looks like we are playing on. Apologies, our clock in the stadium is up, says the time is up, so that may well be wrong, but we'll keep going until this one comes to a close. The Wasps with the free kick.
Couple of final messages. Catherine Crane says, very proud teammate watching from the Isle of Man. Thank you, Catherine. And Stephen Smith says, great game, ladies, from everyone in Belfast. And Mika Joy says, congratulations to our housemate Flo. I think that'll be Flo Williams, the replacement fly half for Wasps. We're proud of you, love. Thank you, Micah.
Miller Mills driving in initially there, but she's held up well by Brea Lung, who's been excellent since coming on for her debut, and it's a turnover. The Sharks have got this ball back in perhaps one final opportunity to try and add a second try. 30 points to 8, Wasps are leading. Katie Daly McLean tries the kick in behind, and it's bouncing towards the try line, and there's a knock on somewhere, and can a Shark get their hand on the ball? They can, and it's a knock on. Vicky Irwin could have gone over for a try there, and that'll be the final play of the game. Almost for Vicky Irwin. So close to adding a second Sharks try, but it's a victory for Wasps here today at the Corpacq Stadium by 30 points to 8. Early tries for Claudia McDonald, Ellie Kildun and Amy Wilson-Hardy in the first half. Katie Daly McLean's penalty, all the Sharks had to show for a first half full of endeavour. Second half, tries for Liz Craik and some Meg Jones penalties. The Sharks did score late on through Lauren Delaney, but it's Wasps who win this one by 30 points to 8. And we can now go back to France and join Sam Diamond.
So Sam, it's Chris again here. Great to have you connected with us in France. Give us your reflections on the first half and update us how it's going there for the men's team.
Hi Chris, so it's half time at the moment. We're 16-0 down. We're playing some good rugby, probably being outmuscled a little bit by a really strong Salon side, and probably a bit of the referee as well, if we're being honest, on our Sharks channels. There's a few decisions that could have gone either way, and they're going the way of the home side, which is usually the case in this competition. But we're looking good stead. I think we need to come out and get the first score on the board in the second half, and we could look to get back into the game.
So not off the scoreboard yet. Any opportunities from a Sale perspective to get on the board so far, Sam?
Yeah, we've had quite a few. Simon Hammersley looks really exciting out there. He's doing some good things, but we just can't seem to get our conversion right in the 22. We've been in the 22 a lot of times, in the Toulon 22, but we're struggling just to get over the line. We've had a couple of turnovers 5 metres out, and it just seems that at the moment Toulon are a little bit more clinical than we are.
Where are the main threats coming from a Toulon perspective, Sam?
Well, our scrum's looking good, but that's where their main threats are, because they've got a heavy pack in. They've got Eben Etzbeth in, and Lewis Carbonell's having a bit of a stormer as well. He's playing some good rugby and setting his back to light, so there's plenty to deal with. But we'll see how it goes now. The second half's just about to start.
Still winnable from a Sale point of view, Sam?
Yes, but we've got a lot to do in the second half, and I think it'll have to go all our way if we are going to turn it round. But a losing bonus point away in France isn't always necessarily a bad thing, so we'll see where we get to.
Sam, thanks so much for joining us this afternoon on Sharks Live. We'll let you get back to it out there in Toulon. Enjoy the second half, and here's hoping for that comeback.
Cheers, guys.
Sam Diamond there, the Media and Communications Manager for Sale Sharks, joining us live from Toulon. If you want to see that game, that is available on BT Sport if you do have access to the BT Sport channels. Half-time in France. Toulon 16, Sale Sharks 0. So get behind your Sharks in the second half if you can, here at the Corpacq Stadium. If you're just joining us on Sharks Live, you can see the debrief post-match there of the Sale players. Lauren Delaney there giving her perspective to her teammates. Sale have been beaten here by a strong Wasps ladies side by 30 points to 8. So Sale not able to build on that successful victory the last time we were here a fortnight ago against Worcester Warriors. But today, Ollie, I think Sale have come up against a side who have just shown them really how to be really clinical in attack, and the difference between where Sale are up to in their development and where Wasps have reached so far.
Definitely, Chris. Wasps are an excellent side. We saw that today. But Sale weren't too far away on occasions. Could have scored a couple of tries in that first half. Did eventually get on the scoreboard, but we saw a Wasps side that were clinical in attack, as you said, Chris, and excellent at the breakdown and in defence as well. So plenty of positives for the Sharks, and we're just waiting to go down pitch side with man of the match, Beth Stafford, who Carrie will hopefully be speaking to very soon on today's game. An excellent performance from the Sharks captain. And we can now go down there now and join Carrie.
Hi Beth, congrats on getting Players Player of the Match. Suzanne on Facebook, a fan, has commented, great game and you've thoroughly deserved this award. How would you reflect on the game today?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough. We knew they were going to come up and kind of bring it to us. I mean, they're a top 3 side and they've just got threats everywhere. So we knew it was going to be tough from the start, but just really thrilled with the way that we kind of came out. We put in a 70-minute performance, and we just need to have a bit more belief in ourselves, because, you know, starting or finishing rather the way we did, if we started the game like that, you know, maybe we could have taken a few more opportunities. But really pleased with how we put it together today.
Yeah, and especially considering you're like a newly formed team and you're able to compete a top 3 table team.
Yeah,
it must feel great after this performance despite the loss.
Yeah, I think, you know, obviously wins and losses, they put a lot out there, but what we're trying to take from it is focusing on things from the last game that we maybe weren't as good at with, and trying to fix those for the next game. And we're really pleased with the way that we're performing, you know, week in, week out. We're kind of focusing on things every week.
What are some of the positives that you might take away from this game, especially considering you have the potential to pick up a few points in your next matches?
Yeah, I mean, it was a full squad effort. It was all 23. We had some real impact players come off the bench, and the way we finished was just amazing, really. So that's really positive. You know, we've got players coming through who potentially haven't had minutes before, and they get a chance to kind of put something forward for themselves.
Yeah, next week you have Exeter, and we've just found out that they're going to be allowed fans in the stadium. So how weird is that going to be to finally play in front of a couple of fans?
Yeah, it's going to be wicked. I think we're really excited. Obviously, women's rugby is really coming up, and the fact that there's lots of tickets being sold, that's really exciting, that we kind of get to go out and show who Sale Sharks really are.
Yeah, and although we're still in Tier 3 and it is looking likely that we'll get fans back, do you still feel that support from the fans at home during your game?
Massively. Like the comments on Facebook, people who don't usually follow or have followed our sport before making comments and things around the girls and work, and it's really, really positive to know, and we really feel it through all the social media and stuff, so it's great.
Yeah, and I think people kind of forget in the women's game that you aren't full-time rugby players, you have jobs at home. So how do you juggle that sort of lifestyle?
Yeah, it is hard, but especially with a squad like we've got, we're all great friends, so it's really social as well, and we've really enjoyed coming together. Like, it's really exciting, and we're really privileged to play in a time like this. We've been able to play since June we've been training, and it's just been fab. Like, we're really, really privileged.
Brilliant, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Back to the studio.
Beth Stafford there, the Sale Sharks number 8 and captain, giving her reflections on her player of the match performance this afternoon to our touchline reporter Carrie Morris, as the Sale players just go through their post-match stretches and diagnose and pick over what's gone on over the last 70 minutes or so. But really encouraging, Ollie, to hear Beth saying there how they feel they're still developing as a side and taking great heart from certainly that last quarter performance, the strength of play in the final stages of the game, despite the match being very much lost on the scoreboard by that time, and getting a lot of experience off the bench from players who've perhaps had limited game time in recent weeks. Definitely,
Chris. This is only, the 7th game that Sale have played all in all, so of course there's going to be difficult moments in all that, but there has been some progression. A win against Worcester last time out in competing for long periods against this strong Wasps side, so plenty of positives for Sale to take into next week. A few last messages to get through from those of you who've kindly joined us today on the live stream. We've had a message from Shock Miango, who is in Mexico, and Shock says, thanks for broadcasting the game. Well, Shock, great to have you with us in Mexico. So we've had viewers in Mexico and Chile as well this afternoon, so great to see women's rugby proving popular in South America. Anne Coppenhall's been back in touch, who says, we're still proud of you all, Sale Sharks. Thank you, Anne. Marion James says, well played, Jess Roberts, from your mam. So thank you, Marion, for getting in touch, and thanks to all of you who've contributed through the socials as part of the broadcast this afternoon. It really helps to make us feel good about how far we're reaching and how many of you are enjoying the coverage with us. So thank you very much for getting in touch through Facebook, through Twitter and through YouTube. Ollie, thank you very much for leading us through the commentary this afternoon. We'll see you again very soon. 27th in the men's game versus Wasps, I believe. Looking forward to it, Chris. Thanks for all your help today. It's been a pleasure. Great to be here again, and we'll see you all on the 27th. Thanks very much for joining us, and we'll see you all soon.